This is cs952 Introduction to Web Technologies and Design, and we're going to be adding Font Awesome to our website. Now, Font Awesome is really similar to the glyphicons that we added earlier to our website. The big difference is that Font Awesome has a much broader selection, much wider selection of icons for us to use, and Font Awesome has some really great social media icons like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and we want to make sure that we can get our website connected with social media, get the word out about what a great website you've created. So how do we add Font Awesome to our website? I'm going to go to my Chrome web browser, and I'm going to do a Google search for Font Awesome, and you can see right away it starts to fill in Font Awesome for us. Very popular website. And I can see Font Awesome, the iconic font and CSS toolkit. This is fontawesome.io. If you click on Get Started and you provide them with your email address, they will then send you a link to the Font Awesome Content Delivery Network, where you can get a CSS link to load the Font Awesome icons into your website. I also have provided for you this same link. It may be a little bit different as the versions change, but we have a link in our tutorial files to version 4.5. So let's just do that. We'll just skip over this email part, but we will be coming back to the Font Awesome website. So here we are, we're looking at our website. I'm going to double click and have a look inside of my text files. Font Awesome is in here somewhere, but there's just a lot to look through. So to speed things along, I'm going to go to Edit, or you can hit Control key F, and I'm going to look for Find. It's actually Find and Replace, but we're just going to do a Find, and we're going to look for Awesome, A-W-E-S-O-M-E, and I'll hit the Enter key, or you can click on Find, and it says Code to add Font Awesome. So this is the code we want to add in right here. This is a link to a CSS file, and that you can see that this CSS file lives on the Max CDN Content Delivery Network. So this is exactly what we want right here. I'm going to right click and choose Copy. Now let's go back to our template file. And we've got our template file open here. Let's look at our DOM panel real quick. We're going to be putting this link in the head of our web page. And I've got Split View open right now. We've got several links in our web page already. You can see we've got the three links right here together. If I click on the first link, we can see our code jumps down, and we can see that's the link to our bootstrap.css file. That was the first CSS file that we added to our website. It was added when the HTML page was created by Dreamweaver, and we selected Bootstrap Framework. The next link is to the nav file that we added. And then the next link is to the styles.css file, the file that has all of our custom CSS. So I'm going to click in the code to put my cursor just right at the very end of that line that is the link to my styles.css file. Got my cursor right past that right pointing arrow. I'm going to hit the Enter key to give myself a new line. And now I'm going to right click and paste in that code that I copied from the text file in my tutorials folder. So I'm just going to choose Paste, and there we have it. A Dreamweaver says, hey, you've made changes to your code. Do you want to refresh? And I do. I'm going to hit the refresh button. And now if we look in our DOM panel, we can see we've got 4 links, right? And the newest link is the one that's linking us to our Font Awesome file. Now, just by adding this to our template, by adding it to the head section of our website, all of our pages will be able to access the Font Awesome library. Pretty easy to use. So I'm going to hit Save All, and then let's keep moving on. Get the message, do I want to update all files based on this template? Yes. Let's look at our footer again. Again, we're in split view, so we can see live view up here. So this is our footers. We can see, I'm going to click on our footer. Here's our footer. Class is equal to text center. That's why all the text is centered in our footer. We have an ID of footer. We use that to change the coloration of our footer. And what we want to do is, after we have our copyright, this information here by Jose Garcia. we're going to apply a formatting of paragraph to this. So I've highlighted this text that's already there, and then I'm going to use my property inspector to highlight this text and then choose paragraph. And what it did was it just added an opening and closing paragraph tag. Now, right after my opening footer tag, but before my opening paragraph tag, I'm going to click and add myself one more line, and this is where we're going to be adding in all of our Font Awesome. So the first one that we want to add is the Font Awesome code for Facebook. And if we want to find out what that is, we can switch back here to Chrome, and let's go to, I'm going to go to icons. We're on the Font Awesome page, and I'm going to click on icons. And if I wanted to find the Font Awesome icon for Facebook, I could scroll down and search, or I can just hit Control F and type in Facebook, F-A-C-E-B-O-O-K. And here we can see we've got all kinds of Font Awesome Facebook icons. We've got Facebook, Facebook alias, official, square. So if we say we click on this one here for Facebook, we find out that the code that we need to use to add this to our web page is this line of code right here. So I'm going to right click and copy that, and I'm going to go to Dreamweaver, and I'm just going to paste that in. Let's hit paste. And as soon as we do that, see, we've got that little F for Facebook added to our page. So let's switch back to Font Awesome. I'm going to navigate back one level, and I'm going to again do Control F, do a search, and I'm going to search for Google. Let's see, we see Google Wallet. We don't want that. Here we go. Here's straight up, we've got Google Wallet, Google Plus. We just want straight up Google. So let's click on Google. And again, let's drag to highlight that code and copy. Switch back to Dreamweaver. And I'm going to give myself a new line. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to paste in Google. And as soon as I do that, see, now we've got the G for Google. Now let's add in YouTube and Twitter. We'll put 4 icons on our page. So again, switching back to Chrome, I want to find my icon for YouTube. So again, I can type in Control F, type in YouTube, YouTube, Y-O-U-T-U-B-E, and we've got a couple different YouTube icons. Let's see. Yeah, just straight up YouTube looks good, doesn't it? So again, we highlight this code, right click and choose copy, jump back to Dreamweaver, and I'm going to hit return and paste my YouTube. Now we can see there's YouTube showing up. And the last one we wanted was Twitter. There's obviously a lot more that we could choose. Let's scoot back. And Twitter was what we were looking for, right? T-W-I-T-T-E-R. There's Twitter. And we'll just use our straight up Twitter icon. Let's right click and choose copy. And before we go back to Dreamweaver, I'm going to do a search for social, S-O-C-I-A-L. And you can see they have a lot of different brand and social icons that we can use. Skype, Spotify, the list goes on. LinkedIn. So I'm going to switch back to Dreamweaver, and I'm going to hit enter for a new line and paste again, and there is our Twitter. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit Save All. Dreamweaver says, do you want to update everything? You say, yeah, let's update it. So the problem right now with our icons is that they're just a little bit small, and we need them to be somewhat larger. That's what we have right now looks okay, but I think we want our social media icons to be larger. And Font Awesome already has a convenient way for us to make any of their icons larger. If we scroll back up here and we're on the Font Awesome page, and we go over here under Examples, there is an example called Larger Icons. And we can see that if we just add in an extra class of FA large or 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, it will make the icons larger. And this FA-3x, that looks pretty good to me. So what I'd like to do is I would like to add that text, FA-3x, which is going to make all of our icons larger. I'd like to add that to every single icon that we already have in Dreamweaver. And we can do that. We could just type it in, or we could use find and replace in Dreamweaver and have it do the same thing for us. And I'm going to highlight our 4 Font Awesome icons. And now I'm going to use our find and replace feature. So we're going to edit and choose find and replace. Remember, we did this before when we were working in our contact form. So Dreamweaver has tried to be helpful by suggesting, is this what we're trying to find and replace? That is not. So I want to hit backspace. I want to delete that. And first, where we have find in, we want to make sure that we find in selected text, because if we have this text occurring elsewhere in our page, I don't want to mess up if we have something about famous people who did this or did whatever that might trigger some replacement of text that we don't intend to. We just want to focus on this text that we've highlighted. So we're going to tell Dreamweaver to search for quote FA, because every one of these lines starts with quotation mark FA, right? And we want to replace that with quotation mark FA, FA-3X. So Dreamweaver is going to go through our selected text. It's going to look for quotation mark FA, which we have right now in our 4 icons, and replace that with FA, FA-3X. And I'm going to hit replace all. And now Dreamweaver tells us the changes that it made. Now we can close that. And I'm going to hit refresh. And look at that. All of a sudden, our icons are much larger and much more prominent. Now this is probably a good place to take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll continue with making a few more adjustments to our Font Awesome icons.